county attorney is newly appointed, and the procedures for approval are underway, Chair, including advertisement.
Are you saying you've never seen a national government official facing contempt of court proceedings?
Not contempt, arrest. Arrest warrants for not paying.
The warrant comes from contempt because the courts have made decisions that your government has to honor. We are a rule of law country. I mean, if the courts have made a decision that a certain amount of money is payable, I am familiar with these cases.
Yes.
You can't excuse the accounting officer in such an event. What do you want the Senate to do? Because we also respect court orders.
You can, Chair, without us going into that as a substantive point. If a CEC, for instance, is compelled to pay a certain amount that has not been approved by the budget in the county assembly, how does he pay it?
So what arguments do you make for the judges there? Because we cannot excuse someone who's been convicted by a court.
I have not asked you to excuse anyone. I am saying that the context within which county government officers are dealt with vis-a-vis their colleagues in the national government is something that I've been on both sides. Something that I've seen is it is not fair. And we will be bringing substantive issues. Even before any issues of contempt, there are always arrest warrants in counties. When I was senator, we were dealing with them. County secretary that time was always in hiding. The county, it's a bigger issue that I think the devolution committee. Please allow me to finish, Senator Ombo.
Okay.
That the devolution committee needs to hear us out and look at it. That is what I want to propose, and I'll bring it later. So it's not about a specific case. It is something continuous on numerous issues, Chair.
Senator Ombo.
Chair, Governor Sakaja, I'm actually in support of what you're saying. And you began by saying that you will bring that matter to the Senate. We will sit back and wait for that matter to be brought. Because you know what, Chair? This mistreatment of county governments by the national government does not begin and end with officers of the county governments. It also extends to allocation of resources in the treasury to county governments. So bring that matter, let's deal with it.
Yeah, just as an exit point, Governor, just under 30 seconds, then the hypocrisy in your statement is you fired Kerich based on that legal challenge.
No, he's not been fired. He's not holding the position for now.
But you have appointed somebody substantively.
Chair, we have 10 CCs. And for, the one...
So you moved him to another department?
He is the substantive CC.
Yes, because he came here, he's not out, or he became substantive after I asked. Did you hire him on instance?
It is first time to sit before you. Yeah, sometimes he sees you on TV, so he's,
Yeah, there is an issue that we have to agree on, Governor. Warrants of arrest only issue if you fail to attend court.
No.
Yeah.
That's why I want this thing substantively dealt with. We have warrants every week without issues of attending court.
This is where we want to guide you, because you cannot bring matters that are before the courts to the Senate for resolution.
No.
The issue that we want to be clear on, even you have been subject to arrest warrants from the Senate just recently because you failed to appear. If you appeared before the courts, that is where you make your case, because also those courts, they are also Kenyans. They understand the challenges that devolved units are going through. We have been through numerous such issues. I remember when the lawyers were issuing those warrants all the time, and it is usually those legal bills, and you sit down with some of them, agree on a payment plan, something you can take to the court.
So my senator should
listen. Get there.
My senator should listen to his governor. Why are you preempting the issue before I bring it? For you to look at the entire...
Chairman. Is what we call exercise in futility.
Chairman.
That's what your senator is warning you against.
But everyone deserves a hearing.
In futility.
Let's talk on
deserves a hearing. Let's hear it.
Let's discuss it at that point. Senator Wambua.
Why can't we just move to this?
Senator Wambua.
Because you see, he said he will. He has not.
To bring it substantive.
He may not even bring it.
Let's all put our mics off.
But we don't want him to do exercise in futility.
So why can't we just let him do what he has to do, and we go to the serious?
Because at face value, it's exercise in futility.
The Senate is a house where everybody comes to for relief.
Said, it.
We cannot all be talking, surely. Please. Yes, let's just talk in tongues. Let's just talk in tongues. Now,
let us listen to Senator Wambua.
You know, me, Chair, what I'm saying is, the governor has said that he will. He has not. Let's wait for that to happen. When it happens, we will deal with it. That is saying, let's go to the issues here, because there are quite serious issues here.
Yes.
I would personally want to know whether the 1 million machine for making chapatis arrived.
Yeah.
You know, those are issues that I want to discuss.
No, Chairman, yeah?
Please, let's just talk when you get my mic. It is possible for you to ask for the mic, and I'll give you the mic, and you prosecute your case. Now, Senator Sifuna, are you asking for the mic?
I have asked.
Please do.
Finally, you know, I don't know how I can put this. If you go to the wrong forum with a problem, expecting resolution, it's actually, I don't know how I can put it, Governor. Because we have, even in our standing orders, we have the sub judice rule. We can't deal with matters that are before the courts. What was giving was guidance, but we will wait for that. I just wanted to know, because it's a matter of great concern to me personally, because I know Kerich. Are you aware as a government of his physical whereabouts?
Chair, let me say this. One, we've not come on that matter. I have not said we're bringing substantive issues with respect to court rulings. Because the sub judice rule is that if you bring a matter that is currently before a court and your hearing of that matter can jeopardize its outcome, that is when you don't discuss it. I'm talking about the Government Proceedings Act. And allow me to leave it at that, Chair.
Is it possible, members, that we leave that issue and we go to the substantive matters? Because looking at the time,
I've been asking you to give me a floor.
okay, Senator Umogen.
You know,
Senator Umogen, yes.
this is House of Record, yeah? And we all know, including Governor here, that we have all taken oath, even us as we sit this afternoon, to respect the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. So if the courts have issued orders and you have a county attorney, you have a legal department, you have gone to court, you have lost the case, and there's that court order, what really do you want the Senate of Kenya to do?
Which matter are you talking about?
There's no matter.
Whatever matter. You're coming here.
Which matter?
You are trying to ventilate before us that you have a problem with this issue of courts issuing orders.
Chair, that is the folly of judgment before a matter is brought to you.
So what's the issue?
Wait and look at it.
What's the issue you are raising?
I'm talking about unfair execution of Government Proceedings Act.
Through court orders. I mean,
Senator
that's not a matter we
have the mic.
That's not a matter.
Senator Dulo.
Chairman, that's not a matter that we can prosecute.
Let it come.
Yeah.
Let it come and then you discuss.
It has not come before us.
Even putting it on record itself is procedural.
Chair, I think the governor shared the frustration they are going through as county governments.
Yeah.
And it's not the matter that brought them here before this committee. So I think until when he actually has done his own research and is ready to come before Senate for a solution, then we should move to the audit issues.
Yeah.
Please.
Senator,
Chair, we have been around. We know what is happening around this country. We have had a lot of issues where counties are being frustrated left, right. And that's what the governor is just saying. I think Senator Wambua summarized everything. Let's wait for that opportunity. If
finally.
Finally, I think my question, members,
a lot of
was very simple.
That are flimsy.
Which the governor has put to rest that the CCM is not acting, is substantive. The only person who is still in process is the county attorney.
It is in the record. The governor just
Yes,
said.
that is the introduction was that it was acting, but the governor has confirmed he has just hired him substantively. So let us leave it there. Chair, I yield.
Chair.
When the devolution comes, Governor, I agree with your frustration.
Chair, allow me to say something kindly.
sorry,
Governor, in Article 96 and 95, the Senate exists to protect the interests of counties and their governments. It is very unfortunate that even before listening to the substantive, that senators can be prejudicial. Why don't we wait for that matter to be brought? Look at it. If it makes sense, do what you need to do. If it doesn't make sense, then you leave it. It could
so
be
the matter that the governor is talking about,
prejudicial and dismissive.
Yeah, it's okay, Governor. The matter that the governor is talking about is not in this house yet.
No, it is not.
Go and prepare, bring it. And
It has been dealt with in one or another in the last Senate, but not substantively.
Thank you, Senator. You want to raise something?
I've not been answered on whether the county government of Nairobi knows where Kerichi is physically.
I will not answer that.
Yeah, I thought
that is
that is
prejudicial to his rights. I will leave it.
Fair enough. I think fair enough. Looking at time, 10 minutes to 2 members.
Chair, just as an exit, with your indulgence, if you don't know where your employee is physical, how will they execute their duties and it's still substantive?
So how would he know where he is really? Is there something I don't know about this issue?
Chair, can you control the meeting, please?
And you've been yes, I think let's just go to the substantive matter, members. Is that okay? So before Governor came in, we had opportunity to engage with the auditors on the matters raised in the receiver of revenue. We will start with the receiver of revenue, and then if you get time, go to the executive. We looked at the matters that were not resolved. These are the matters that we shall look at now. The first paragraph was paragraph 8, that is page 5, on the certificate, receivables from exchange and non-exchange transactions. Auditor, you had already done your audit. And because by 31st, we had our report at 1st March, the governor had not turned up. We had and adopted this report. What we'll be wanting from you is we're just looking at the implementation of this report. So still we'll go through the issue, and then the governor would give us the response and how they're implementing the recommendations of the Senate report. Please go through 8.1.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, 8.2.
8.2.
8.2, yes.
Note, do I read the whole of it or in summary?
Just read all of it.
No, thank you. Note 22 to the revenue statement reflect receivable from exchange transaction totaling to Kenya shilling 7,529,755,055. However, receivable totaling Kenya shillings 4,816,825,885, or 65% of the receivable have been outstanding for more than 3 years. Further, transition from cash-based to accruals accounting introduced a significant variance between the audited prior year arrears balance and the current year's reported opening balances, which were not reconciled or supported with the determination, with documentation and explanation for downward adjustment. In the circumstances, the accuracy, completeness, and recoverability of the revenue of the receivable totaling to Kenya shilling 62,769,430,875 could not be confirmed.
Governor, please respond and point us to the page that you would be reading your response from.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. The response on 8.2, I will give the response here now to discuss the issue generally, because it's a big issue that needs to be looked at holistically. The county has put measures towards recovering outstanding debt owed to us, which includes joint operation for enforcement teams, clamp down closure, and recovery of unpaid items. Talks with government entities to explore possible recovery and in some cases debt swaps. The county also did data cleansing, exercise whose results show county owing itself a good amount coming to hospitals, schools, and county offices and all parcels were being calculated in the system.
Sorry, which page is that?
Page 9.
Is it labeled 9.3? Did you get it? Okay. Go ahead. Stop there. Go ahead, Governor.
The same data had exempt properties being calculated in the system, and above all, the general interest and penalties had grown beyond the principles by far. Chair, we've attached a transitional statement and transitional reconciliation statement, which have been provided. Also, the report on the data cleansing activity. The corrective measures undertaken is a comprehensive data cleansing exercise on land rates and data records, exempt properties and unrecoverable balances identified and removed from active receivable balances. Enforcement teams were deployed to recover outstanding land rates and rent arrears. Demand notices, legal notices, bulk messages, and eviction notices in the case of house rents were issued to defaulters. And in Appendix 13.4, we've submitted samples of those. Debt recovery initiatives, including clampdowns, were initiated and are still ongoing. Detailed aging analysis and reconciliation schedules were prepared. Revenue collection strategies were enhanced to improve collection of arrears. Periodic review of outstanding balances is continuously done to identify long outstanding debts for appropriate action. Chair, in a nutshell, with accrual accounting now we must, put the receivables, what we expect to get from either accounts we have or parcels of land, because land rates and property taxes are indeed the highest revenue stream for the county of Nairobi. The variance is then what is not collected, and what is outstanding in terms of defaulters. Now the defaulters, even after the cleanup, Chair, I think that amount of 63 billion is really the amount of money owed to Nairobi by its citizens and other entities, and mainly in form of land rates. The rents amount is not as high. It has come down, and it's because of a lot of measures that were put in place, including, unfortunately, evictions that had to be done, and such enforcement measures. Chair, if you look at the list of those who owe 63 billion, it's a huge list. And I'm happy even currently we are undertaking a negotiation with a debt collector to now move to auction, because the people of Nairobi need services. They need garbage collected, they need medicine in hospitals. You need to serve this county. 63 billion out there is way too high. And the cost of running the capital is extremely high. It's a service county. Things need to be seen to be done. So that is what we're doing. Chair, you remember earlier I brought up the issue of Rating Act and the need for certain regulations by the Cabinet Secretary. The issue of, what do you call it, sectional properties. How 1 acre in a certain area is paying the same as its neighbor with 70 apartments, which is not equitable. Now the common mwananchi is paying every day. The mama mboga is paying her 50 shillings or 20 shillings, but it's landowners of the 175,000 parcels that we've now reconciled to who are not paying their due to the city. So that is the long and short of it all. So in as much as we have improved on collection, Chair, that financial year in question, we collected 13.8 billion, 2024, 2025, which is a big improvement from where I found it.
Those are land rates?
No, that is in total. Of course, half of that is land rates and property-related taxes. Chair, we've increased revenue collection in Nairobi by 55%. But still, in as much as what we're collecting in Nairobi is more than 30 counties combined, it is not enough to serve the people of Nairobi. I shall rest there for now.
Auditor, that was the query and that is the response from the management. Yes?
I wanted to ask...
Before you even do that,
okay,
we want to ask the auditor if that query was responded to well. If not, what is still outstanding?
What is the outstanding, we can say, I think, is what is the current state out of that 62 billion? Because the concern was it has been outstanding for long, within what is outstanding for more than 3 years. What is now out of that? What is the current state in terms of what have you corrected within that?
Is it possible you get that now, Governor, or you might time?
You see, a lot of the increase between the 8 billion to the 13.8 of our current revenue can be attributed to people who've paid outstanding rates, but a huge majority are not paying. And that is why, I've seen there three categories of people. One are very faithful people who come and pay, whether you remind them or not. Second, there are those who need to be reminded. I think even today, some of you might have received a message reminding you that you have until 30th June for 100% waiver on interest. Thirdly, there are those who can only pay when they are caught. Unless they are caught and there's legal action or there's an auctioneer in their property, they will not pay. And that is the biggest problem. But also there's a government. There's contribution in lieu of rates from national government entities that is still owing. And I'll get the exact number, I think it's 3.8. Yeah. Around 3.8 billion from government entities, including Parliament. Parliament is one of the defaulters who owe Nairobi County contribution in lieu of rates. The new Rating Act provided a new procedure where you write to the CC Finance writes to the National Land Commission, listing all government entities owing CILO, and then the PS of Finance is the one who receives that from NLC and is the one who reports back and pays through NLC. That was the change that came with the Rating Act, and there's still been delay in actualizing those provisions because of the regulations in the House, Chair.
Senator Sifuna. Chair, Governor, the CS for Treasury sat in that same chair last he was here, and according to Treasury, according to what he told us, is that some of these conversations have stalled because of unavailability of your office to have those conversations. Sitting here today, what do you have to demonstrate the progress that has been achieved in terms of resolving some of those concerns?
Well, we can Governor, write the question. You will take another one from Senator Mugen.
Yes, Governor.
Sorry, if I forget, you said what? Evidence to show progress?
Yes, because he laid the blame squarely on you as a CEO of the county.
You should have called us together. You would not have said those things.
Order, Governor.
Sorry.
The Senator Mugen.
Yes, Governor, I've heard you say that revenue has increased from 8 billion to 13 billion under your stewardship.
13.8.
13.8, Yes. Do you attribute this to efficiency, or you have also increased your rates significantly? What is the percentage you have increased the rates? Then number two, can you say that Nairobians are correspondingly receiving services to reflect this increased revenue from 8 to 13 billion? Personally, where I live, I've never seen garbage collection from the county government of Nairobi.
Where do you live?
In Nairobi.
Where?
Don't worry where. But
Chair, can you protest Senator Mogeni?
Governor,
I live in the Goreti corner, Wanyero.
The standing orders talk about responsibility for statements of
facts. So actually, not just, this is a general question that generally there is a problem of garbage collection. I drove through Isili yesterday. I actually took a video clip. I will send it to you. There are heaps of garbage in Isili. The same thing with our center here in Kamkunji. So I don't know why we are not seeing a clean Nairobi now that you have increased revenue to 13 billion.
Senator, just write the questions you will answer. Senator Charles.
Chair, and you must bring the governor to order. He waits to a chance to answer. This thing of giving snippets while members are speaking doesn't look very neat. Governor, note this down. I have gone to corrective measures. There were teams that went out. There is the issue of comprehensive data cleansing. There is the issue of demand legal notices, debt recovery initiatives, total energy analysis. I've seen over 3 years in your report that you have given. That is more than 3 years, is almost 95.9% in terms of aging analysis that you have given. On all these 8 corrective measures, how much have you collected comparing what is still outstanding? And then finally, you have said your revenue collection has increased from 8 to 13 billion. But according to CRA, your revenue potential should be 63 billion. So what are you doing to actualize that? Because I know before this projection of revenue collection is the CRA and that potentiality of Nairobi should be much more, because there's that consistency in Nairobi city has never been achieved. So when you say there is improved efficiency of collection, then you still have this spending. And then finally, you had the CS Mbadi was here, the expert was here. We argued for some time about what national government should do. You have argued in your response that they could be debt swap. With that engagement, how much have you done debt swap with the national government, and how much are you agreeing on settling, as in terms of, I know national government owes you, you owe them. So where is the meeting point to ensure that, because bulk of this outstanding is bought by the national government as opposed. And on the issue of cabbage collection, I don't know the efficiency, because even when you drive Wayaki Way and most of our estates, still a big problem in terms of cabbage collection.
Governor, you may respond now.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very happy senators are making the same point I'm making, because that collection requires resources. It is a heavily logistical exercise. It's a very expensive exercise. Without these resources, you will definitely not see the kind of efficiency we deserve. An increase of 5 billion or 6 billion will not all go into one thing. You know, it won't all go into garbage. The county provides medical services, roads, a lot of things, you know, Chair, that you know, because you're the ones who look through our audits. Let me answer them in sequence, starting with my senator. The evidence to show progress in terms of what national government, or rather these measures that we're taking, is really correspondence between us. Correspondence to the NLC we can provide, the demands for those amounts we can provide, demands to national entities that we've actually written to, we can also provide. The issue that, if I get it right, that CS Mbadi was on about, and if I'm wrong, you can correct, was on pension debts. And the pension debts matter. In fact, I chaired a meeting that he missed in Treasury to agree on a new formula, because they had been applying the actual deficit wrongly. When you look at funds that are defined benefit funds like lap trust. But on DC funds, we, for instance, have no outstanding arrears when it comes to that, apart from interest. So that is the one meeting that is kept talking about, where I came and gave them. They wanted the views of Nairobi and Mombasa. And I remember that day I left OP and went straight to Treasury, and we gave them our opinion. In fact, we actually pointed out where they are wrong in their calculation, because you cannot have the interest plus the actual deficit being applied on a county entity. It was not about the debts they owe us. It was about how much counties owe pension funds, lap trust and lap fund. And Chair will remember this is a matter I dealt with a lot when I was your chair of labor in this house, up until we passed the county government retirement scheme legislation. So I can provide that correspondence. Chair, what is slowing us down? One, the ability or the teeth to enforce. When you owe KRA, KRA will come for you. And they have all the powers plus police and all of that. For the counties, enforcement is a challenge. In fact, part of why we're working on the Nairobi Metropolitan Police Force, because all our people have is Nirungutu. So I've told you, I owe you this. You go to court to get an injunction. You stop the process. The section 19, if I'm not wrong, or 18, of the National Rating Act provides those remedies. It says that the county government can, one, deny you whatever service, including water, you know. Two, can come and put an agency notice on your property. Three, can collect rent on your behalf in the case of a place that has rental income. 4 can auction. Now, what has been waiting for implementation or execution of that has been regulations, because the same law says the cabinet secretary shall prepare regulations for the enforcement of that. Before, what they used to be, under the Valuation for Rating Act of 1956.
Which, just approach.
In its 1956 law, was that you set a valuation court in the county, which we did. You get a magistrate to head the tribunal. Then those with disputes can be able to, question the disputes before producing a new valuation rule. Fortunately, and my senator, this progress, we're the only county that has been able to move to a new valuation rule. 2019 valuation rule. The rest are still in the 80s valuation rule. So implementing it, albeit with a few people who had objections. If you help us get the proper regulations on 2 laws, one, the National Rating Act. There I sit with the governors and mayors from across the world. Capital cities are run through property taxes. Number 2, on the sectional properties law. Sectional properties law demands, and I'll give you an example, half an acre in Kileleshwa with 1 house is paying the same rate as half an acre with 60 houses. Yet they need more services, more water, they use the roads more, etc. Sectional properties will provide that each and every of those units first gets a sectional title by a certain time, and each of them becomes a rate payer. Even if the amount is not too high.
Of the Sectional Properties Act?
Again, it's the regulation. We've done our regulations. We even did a draft that we shared with the CS that they can adopt, because we're the biggest beneficiary. We've done county regulations.
So, Governor, that is a proper matter to bring before the Senate. And for your information, we have dealt with changes to the Statutory Instruments Act. We've passed, I think, 3 separate in this last 3 months or so to criminalize delays in operationalization of laws, including failure and delays in passing of regulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That will really help the city. Chair,
Chair, I just wanted to ask the governor, since this matter has been in the books for the last 3 years, are you able to realize this collection? Because it cannot remain in your books forever. So if it's not possible, can you make proper justification on how you can get it off your books? If you are unable to do it, then you can bring it to the Senate. They can be able to help you to go through that.
Chair, what my elder sister is not getting, the issue here is hundreds and thousands of people who owe the county rates and are not paying. Now, the only way to sort it out is when the county has the teeth and ability for those services you're saying, on Wanye Road, for garbage, it requires money. It requires resources. It requires equipment. We need to fix drainage in this city. It requires resources. So you're running a city of 7 million people with a 38 billion budget. We definitely cannot have the same quality of life that we want elsewhere. And I'll give you an example. I was hosting my colleague here, Mayor of Paris. And I took her to see one of our projects. And she asked me, Sakaja, how many people do you have? I said 7 million. She's like, oh, she has 2 million. Then she said, and that's Greater Paris. Then she asked me, what is your revenue? When I told her the amount, she was shocked. So what is your budget? I said, I converted it. I asked her what her budget is. It's equivalent of 1.3 trillion Kenya shillings for the capital. We want that quality of life in Nairobi, but you don't want to pay for it. It is not fair. So that is the issue, Senator Dulo.
No, Chair, I agree with the governor, the frustration and challenges they are going through. But the other thing is that, for how long are we going to have this on record? If you really feel that you cannot make headways, can you give this matter to the Senate? And then we can be able to see how it can be, you can be assisted. Because we cannot have it forever in books, and you are unable to realize.
Yeah, so that operationalization, I hope that is the right way you say that word. That making it work of those 2 laws, and that is really why we push those 2 laws, would be a huge victory for not just Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru.
So, Chair, I hear the governor saying that with proper facilitation by law,
Yes.
this 62 billion
Can be realized.
can be realized.
Yeah. And once you realize that, you will see the services. We're doing a lot with so little, the little that we have. Let me give you the last example. The Senate graciously has been able to provide for us, increasing allocations to county. And that one I thank my senator. I used to boast to him that me when I came, I found 15, I left it at 18. Now he's come to 21. So he's performed very well. Do you know of the 1.7 billion that I receive a month, 1.5 is salaries? We want potholes fixed, we want drainage done, we want 7 million people served, and Senator Mugeni's garbage collected. The financing question of the capital must be looked at critically. The financing question. Say on the second question on revenue increase, Senator Mugeni, yes, it has gone up by 55%. What I attribute it to mostly is digitization of all revenue streams. The digitization of all revenue streams and having a no cash policy has really helped the efficiency. Number two, simplification of paying.
So 55% should give us what? From 8 billion, if you increased it by 55, wouldn't it bring us close to 13 billion?
Yes, that's why we collected 13.8.
So the fact...
I've increased revenue by 55%.
Because you have increased the rates.
No. I'm explaining the reasons you asked. The first one was digitization and making it efficient, devolving the customer service centers. Today, across the city, you don't have to come to City Hall to pay. On *647# on your phone anywhere in the world, you can pay your rates. On nairobiservices.go.ke, you can describe your business, print your license with a QR code without going to any office. So that efficiency has helped. Senator Mugeni, the issue of rates increase does not apply because the rates increase was quite minimal. Because what we're doing is 0.05% of of undeveloped site value. And we even did a capping, because for the larger ratepayers, we said that if they increase almost double, or rather doubles your rates, you will not pay beyond that. And so it's a very small category of people. Most ratepayers is 10,000, 15, 20, but the defaulters are the 100 million. I don't know if data privacy is an issue. I would name people here. That someone is well-to-do, is driving a big car, they're doing business, they owe us 12 million shillings, and they don't want to pay. And we told people, even these rates you can pay month by month in arrears, in installments, So really, it is that issue of can't pay, won't pay until you get me. But today, I'm very happy.
Governor, the way you are talking about those big people, I'm looking at Cherage and wondering whether he knows one of them.
Maybe he's one of them, he's a big guy.
Chair, you need to protect me. Focus. Let us remain on focus. When you're hunting for antelope, go for the antelope, not the squirrel.
But I hope you're not hunting. Chair, there are big names, political names, big institutions, and something people do not know. This law today does not exempt people like golf clubs. Golf clubs are refusing to pay. Huge golf clubs, all these rich people go there to complain about the pothole. But they themselves have arrears. If I list for you, Karen, Mudaiga, Royal here, which if I auction it, it can make a very nice park for the Kibra people. It can be a very nice recreational facility. They're not paying. Yet, the biggest complainers of lack of service delivery are members. Now, this new rating act only exempts religious institutions. And those religious institutions that have a business entity are not exempt in the business entity. If you go here to Holy Family Basilica, they're collecting a lot in their parking silo. So we only charge them rates for that part. But for the rest of the church, no. So it's only religious. You saw my staff went to the Freemasons. Freemason is not a religious institution. It's a gentleman's club. It even has a bar inside. But you see, these are the people who are also the loudest.
Do you say people who are going to church don't drink?
It's not registered. All religious institutions are registered in Kenya through the Register of Societies, all of them. And so people claiming those exemptions yet conducting business. You know, let's be fair. Senator Sifuna, you represent Mama Mboga, who comes early in the morning to Wakulima, and she's paying her 50 bob. But people
You can't flog this horse further.
No,
And
we
the point
must.
is made.
I can see
Chair,
and-
can I
Last
just
one was
do
with the
follow
debt
up?
swaps, Senator Cherargei asked. I've not answered your last
Yes,
question.
please. Yes. True.
There's not been good progress. There's not been good progress. We've done numerous meetings. One example is, I explained yesterday in a different committee, Chair, how I was going to be very happy having moved Nairobi from 119 billion pending bills to 0, because what was going to happen, one, I've already reduced from 119 to 86. Now from the 86, the Supreme Court ruled that Nairobi County is owed for the Makasi garrison. It was ruled that it is ours. And we said the military must now start paying for it. And the value of it, in my assessment and the assessment of our team, was 80. It has come down to 75. That negotiation stopped there. But if you press upon them to pay, as even to say to pay an additional 10 billion every year or 20, it will come to deliver services to the people. Because the court found that that is a property Nairobi bought for value from Kayole Estates. That time it was 40,000 pounds. So these are the things that can really help us be able to serve the people better. Chair, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Chair, just follow up, because when we finish the issue of revenue, I think we'll be done. Chair, yes. Governor, I sympathize with you with the issue of rating, and we are back the statutory instrument. But I am jittery, because your potential should be 65.1 billion. If I accept the property rate, when you come to parking fees, your potential should be 2.5, but you are collecting 2 billion, just as an example. The hospital and public health fees, you should be collecting 6.2 billion, but you are collecting 1.5 billion. The building plan approvals, and I see many buildings coming up everywhere in this city, you should be collecting 6.1 billion, but you are collecting 1.35 billion. On the issue of business trading license, the potential is 16.0 billion, but you are collecting 2.7 billion. This issue and this analysis of your revenue, the liquor licensing is very interesting, because I normally see estimated potential of 8.4 billion, but you are collecting 338 million. I'm just giving breakdown, exempting the rating, the property rate. So does it mean, one, how do you, through the chair, how do you ensure that this potential is maximized? Number two, for example, like liquor licensing. I know most Nairobians like sheree. And whenever I drive around, you see quiver, you see what, and even your senator with indulgence has always referred himself as Waziri wa Sheree. I thought you should have at least corrected 5 billion to 8.5 billion. So what are you doing to maximize this other revenue that you don't need the rating at? Finally, you have said that you are moving to from non-cash basis. Governor, we saw one of your senior officials, although this is a matter under investigation, was found with 65.6 million, although I'm told it was more. You never know what happens in this country. And it's a senior county official, and you are talking about moving to non-cash. Why would be a senior official be found with more than 65 million in a house? What is, the point is, I don't need to deal with the investigating part, but you are talking about non-collection through cash. So my concern, if you find a senior official and you have said we are moving to cashless, then some of us doubt, considering finding 65 million with one person is very, very dangerous.
Thank you, Chair. Let me deal with the substantive issues. Yes, the potential in those revenue streams that you have mentioned. I'm not agree with the figures, because that was just an estimate, but it is high. But remember, you also need resources to collect resources. You know, you need to invest in equipment. You need, and especially for what we call the DCU, the debt collection unit. We are now getting into leasing to have more vehicles for those teams that go to the ground. And so the potential is there, but of course we also don't want to overtax Nairobians. We're not raising taxes. We've not raised for the last 2 or 3 cycles, but we're expanding where people can actually be able to pay. An example that counties have not explored well, I think apart from Kisumu and maybe Lamu, if I'm not wrong, is what we call entertainment tax. I think Kwale. one of the coastal counties. You know, the constitution says that counties can levy business and property fees, and B, it says entertainment taxes. If an entertainment tax of whatever percentage is put on a lot of what you'd call entertainment, it is a potential for all counties to actually raise some money, and it can be collected even by KRA, you know, as a percentage as they collect their VAT, without overburdening Kenyans. Yes, Senator Cherargei, Nairobians love sherehe. There's been an increase in liquor, especially this financial year, again because of the same process. We now moved to liquor pay. Now, liquor pay is a system that is digital, that all of those who are applying to run these businesses are now using. They're very happy with it. You know, it's very hard to hear people you're regulating coming to say thank you for doing that. I think finally on the officer found with money, it is not revenue he was found with. I don't think it's being investigated. But in Nairobi, first, we don't condone that. And I condemned it completely. I suspended the officer immediately. We've seen cases of people being found with money from national government, from other counties before, whether it was bribes collected from people, etc. It is wrong. And we must do everything we can do to tighten systems to prevent that. Of course, as I said, even in that, in my statement, there's a space for personal culpability. You know, I saw the media, my friends here, trying to now run with it, saying Sakaja's officer found, like, surely, how do I know what you have in a bucket in your house or under your bed?
But he's your officer.
I have 19,000 officers.
You know, they were right, he's your officer.
But when someone else was found, KPA, they didn't say so-and-so's officer found with 500 million, you know? It is very unfair when
but they ran the same headline. I hope you saw.
Thank you.
But the point I'm making is
Chair, in defense of the media,
Yes,
Sakaja, you know, I'm also ascribed.
So they even apologized to me.
But you know,
for the 4-1,
there is nothing wrong with them making reference to you because they also need familiarity, you know.
No, they can say Nairobi County Government officer.
The boss of Nairobi City officer is the boss is Sakaja. So
a very close ally.
I think we can close. But you have worked with him.
Very close ally.
Let's close. But some of us know you as such. Yes. Is your close
Senator, Chairman.
Progress.
Chairman, as we make progress,
yes.
Governor, I think you need to. I'm happy that you are condemning the officer who was found with money. You know, when you look at the projections on how much you should be making, and when you see an officer working with 65 million shillings, that should be an indicator there is a big leakage in terms of collecting of rates, or revenue, and the like. So you really need to, you can't blame the media. Of course, certainly there is a problem within your own administration, that there is that window of somebody working with 65 million shillings. Is an indicator that there is a problem. So I hope when you go back, you will fix that issue, that weakness in system that can enable an officer to walk around with 65 million shillings.
Chair,
thank you.
Chair, I don't know why the governor is complaining, because I don't know if he saw they were saying the same. When you don't show up to the committee, the people of Nairobi are saying go and get him from his house. Because they say you are my governor. Yeah, they say that I am unable to do oversight. In fact, even on this specific officer, the explanation was that I should know where all of your officers live and should be conducting periodic oversight visits. And now at home. So you shouldn't be complaining, because at the end of the day, the people expect that those of us in these positions do something about some of these things.
So as we make progress, members, just Governor.
Yes, sir.
In the financial year 23-24, for land rates, we corrected 3.4 billion, but there was a huge leap. For the financial year 24-25, you collected 18.5 billion. Is it?
No.
Is that figure okay?
No, that is one of the queries. That was a receivable of.
Oh, that is a receivable
of those who were in
for land rates.
For land rates.
Okay.
Those are people. In fact, those are the best, because these are people you know, isn't it? They have an account. You have invoiced them, but they have not paid.
Okay.
It is easy to enforce on those ones, then those who you may not know, and what we're working on as well, and I really wish it would be faster, an API between us and the Ministry of Lands. Because sometimes you get a defaulter, and then they say, oh, I did a subdivision. And so they say, or the ownership changed. The county should be able to know real time when those changes happen, so that we go after the right person. But the 18.5 chair was receivable.
So it is occasioned by the change in from cash to accrual.
From cash to accrual.
Okay, let's make progress. So people, do what you can do so that we can get these receivables. And then number two, if there's anything that the Senate can do in terms of fast tracking the
Rating Act.
Yeah, the Rating Act and the other one.
Sectional Properties.
Sectional Properties Act. For the
Chair,
regulations.
maybe just 1 minute, 30 seconds. You said you are supposed to do something with lands, Ministry of Lands. Is there progress so that we don't need to come up next year so that it's assist? Because I know majority, if they can give you those, it is easy.
It's slowed
and
down.
Nixon Korir is your personal friend.
That is true. But you know, institutions also exist. And we have been taken round by officers. I don't know why. Because, you see, if Senator Tirarge, you buy land today from Senator Wambua, I should be able, as the rating authority, to know who is the new...
The other way around, me buying from him, not him buying from me.
Oh, they got blessings, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. But
from my lips to God's ears.
Members, I think we need to agree.
No, Wambua is an incoming governor, so...
Yes.
You should expect
we need to agree
with all such things.
Governor, not really auditor, let's look at paragraph 9.2 on under receipting of on-source revenue against bank collections. Go through the paragraph, then we get to know what the governor has to say.
Thank you, Chair. 9.2, under receipting of on-source revenue against bank collection. Analysis of Nairobi State County Executive on-source revenue for the financial year under review reviewed variance between the receipts recorded in the automated revenue system and credit in the bank account. The system reported total receipts of Kenya shillings 10 billion 602 million 255,891, while the bank reflected collection of Kenya shillings 11 billion 515 152 905, resulting in unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 912 million 897 014. This indicates that part of the revenue credited in the bank was not receipted in the system as required. Failure to align the system with the bank credit undermines the integrity of the reported revenue and weakens the accountability in the management of the public funds. Further, it was not possible to confirm the completeness and accuracy of on-source revenue for the year, and the county is exposed to revenue leakage and possible misappropriation of funds leading to misstatement of financial reports. Thank you.
Governor, let's get the response.
Yeah, allow me to read it and then just give a further explanation. Let me read what we gave. Chair, the variance of 912,897,014 is as a result of payments done directly to the bank without specific revenue stream narration or invoice numbers. Such payments do not reflect in the system as integration is based on the bill or invoice numbers. These are receipted later when reconciliation is done that identify similar payments related to issued bills. The county is in the process of enhancing system integration to ensure that this challenge is resolved. So, Chair, the system that you're talking about here, the revenue collection system, has three ways of paying. One is through the USSD. When you dial *647#, because once you dial *647#, there's a drop-down menu, and you'll say, I am paying for land rates, or I am paying to use Uhuru Park, or whatever it is. And then you pay. There, there'll be services.go.ke, where whatever you pay then gets receipted because you paid for a specific item. And of course, going to any customer service center, and we know that Moruma has paid $1 million for this. Now, there's a category of people who send a payment directly to the county, to the bank. This 912 is money that there is more money in our bank than in the system, payments that didn't go through the system. So somebody just does an RTGS to Nairobi County government of 5 million or of 3 million, and then our guys have to figure it out. What was this 3 million for? We found it in the bank statement, but we don't know what revenue thing it was until that person comes himself and says, I paid for approval of building plans and this is my receipt. So that is what we're trying to get integrations, including speaking to the Kenya Bankers Association. This normally happens with the banks that we don't bank with. When you go to cooperative bank and the banks we bank with, they assist or they have a drop down. But through the Kenya